What is up, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about depth and the depth specifically of this world right now that we live in the modern era. And I think a lot of things are lacking depth, whether that's like relationships, people, the things we have, like music, films, whatever. A lot of things are kind of rushed out, they lack depth. And I actually can attest myself to sometimes be a part of that problem. Actually, maybe I've rushed something out I shouldn't have, or like done something that's instant gratification. I think we all have at this point. It's pretty hard to avoid in this era we live in to not do something that's like instant gratification. And I also wanted to touch on that topic. This era we live in is just instant gratification. A lot of people just want validation, likes, attention, this and that. Everybody is super always looking for the next best thing, and that's obviously human nature also to an extent. Just human nature revealed through social media. Now, we all want what is the best, and I think instant gratification kind of just gives that illusion that we are at a higher level than we are actually at. To a lot of people. Some people do genuinely have a lot of value and things to offer, but a lot of people also don't, and they still get a lot of fake validation, thinking that inflates their real value in their head, at least, to higher than what it actually is. So often reality doesn't coincide with what they perceive themselves in their head. So a lot of people get confused when things don't go their way, because they've got this inflated sense of value instead of actually living in reality. That's something I think that's the main actually source of issue of a lot of things in society, is just this inflated sense of value people have through social media and using it and just getting these different ideas in their head. And that's the main reason why I personally do not like social media, and especially the modern apps more. YouTube is kind of like a hit or miss. I think YouTube has its pros and cons like everything, but I think it's not a bad platform. I think it has a lot of good things if you use it properly. The other ones are a bit, if we mention things like TikTok and even Instagram and things like that, those are more of just like instant gratification. There's not much use there. The main things the algorithms push on those types of social media platforms is just trash, basically, all day. So like the more you spend time there, the more brain damage you're just gonna do to yourself, pretty much. Or as they say, it brain rot nowadays. But that's basically what I've been kind of thinking about as of late a lot, is the depth we're lacking. And a lot of what I just described and explained is the reason why we have a lack of depth in this world. Is the instant gratification, these inflated values, what we perceive as valuable, what society perceives as valuable, and what social media does to us and our brain and everything, and how people act because of it. And then if we think about the lack of depth in things, everybody's kind of overhyping things and pushing things out fast without much quality, because you need to get things done fast because people want fast things all the time. People don't have time to wait. You have to get this thing done right now, and I kind of understand that it's a fast-paced world we live in, but I think sometimes some quality needs to be thought about and just like put into things that deserve it. And I think a lot of things lack quality, whether it's like products we have, music, whatever, even videos or whatever you want to say. Like a lot of things lack quality nowadays compared to what they might have been in the past. Like a lot of old, even like if you think about like cars, had a lot of quality put into them, and some of those cars still run just fine nowadays. A lot of newer cars might break down and have a lot of problems, and they're just not built the same way. And it's kind of interesting to note a lot of old products, how well they were made compared to nowadays. And everything is cheaper materials, more optimized, whatever. And it's just like you notice this like crashing down of everything in a sense in society when it comes to like economy and everything else regarding it. Pretty much everything goes down with the economy and quality of products. But a lot of, I feel like, people just wanna kind of do the same things today, like be this person, quote unquote, and have all these like quote unquote things that are like are supposed to make you happy, but in reality a lot of things don't make you happy that are like materialistic. Like just think about it, like yes, materialism, it's kind of a double-edged thing. It's like it does make you happy on some extent, but I think the main happiness from materialism that comes is the freedom of life rather than the actual material things. It's knowing you have 1 million in your bank rather than having things that are worth 1 million. You know, it's like I feel like a lot of people in social media represent materialism as in like this car and all these things are gonna bring you happiness, when in reality it's the sum that gives you the freedom of choice that is the real happiness, where it comes from materialism. I think I don't really care to have like 3 supercars if I could just have the money instead for those supercars, because the money is what grants me the freedom to do things. And if I spend that money wisely, for example, I could be free, extremely free. So again, most things are just kind of, in a sense you could say, just funny to me in social media. It's just like, why are all these things so complicated in social media, where like everybody's kind of trying to be something they're not, trying to get one up on each other, and kind of like pretending they're happy, and then they're like stalking other people and like trying to, in a sense, be better, quote unquote, and like pretend everything's so fine, when in reality they hate their own life, or they really wish their life was different, or they wish they were with a different person, maybe if they're in a relationship, or they wish they had different friends, they wish they had the same motivation or whatever as somebody else. Like it's just like I feel like social media is just a breeding ground for hate, and it leads to a generation of hate. And this comes to why people, I think people just lack depth. Like people don't know how to have deep conversations. People kind of lack social skills nowadays, and everything coinciding with that, because it's like, who knows, everybody's kind of by themselves to an extent, and does not really know how to talk anymore. People don't socialize as much, like in real life anyway. You know, you get all these apps, where people talk and pretend they're social, and it's not the same thing though. It's just kind of ridiculous. I'm not saying it's that deep, like at the end of the day you can always just go outside and, you know, do your thing. I'm not saying like you can't just like be social in real life. You can just go outside, but like it's still very prevalent. It doesn't matter if you try to still be social. There's still a lot of people who are very too much on social media and don't really live their life as they should, which means it's lacking depth. But there's also that, what I wanted to touch on is people don't want to build anything. People don't want to really build new stuff that much. Like there's some startups and stuff, but people don't want to take risks really. People don't just want to get everything fast. People don't want to build together. You know, people don't want to get into a relationship and build something together. People just want to kind of have everything. You know, who wants to like team up and build something like a business? Who wants to get into a relationship and build a life together? You know, who wants to do that nowadays? Everybody just wants the winner or the best person or whatever. on social media is portrayed as high value. And that's, I feel like, the also all another reason for lack of depth in life is just people don't want to build anything that's worth having, and that would have some depth in it, like whether it's like even like long-term friendships where you're like, you know, motivating each other, building each other up, whatever, you know, like people rarely have those. Like it's not that common. A lot of people have mostly surface level friendships or whatever they call friends, you know, a lot of fake people out there. And yeah, the world lacks a lot of depth in so many areas, especially relationships, you know, whether it's friendships or just relationships in general with anybody. And I feel like I just want to talk about these things on my mind. I feel like these are important topics to bring out. And I feel like there's a lot of work that could be done on these topics. Now, how would you go about fixing these problems? I think it's pretty simple. How do you add more depth? You find other people who want more depth and you start building from there. If you want better music, make better music. That's high quality. If you want better products, make higher quality products. If you, for example, make some kind of products, make higher quality. Focus on these things. Try to do your own part in life where you can have more of these things to improve. You know, there's a lot of things. Try using less social media, or not at all. You know, delete your social media. I certainly wish I could sometimes, but it's mostly just related to what I do. So I can't just like kind of up and leave, even if I kind of wanted to, because it's kind of like I feel like this is a part of my thing that I want to do. So it just kind of like, it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, but that's kind of what I'm trying to say is like, there's basically every problem I described, I also just do the opposite of that problem pretty much, and you pretty much have the solution. So it's not that complicated to fix, it's just that people are so stubborn and so into what is happening, and I just don't see it changing right now very fast. Like you would have to, people would have to on the individual level acknowledge things in their own life and start making changes to have different outcomes. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say in this video, and I hope we can get more depth into this world again, and perhaps we'll see once again in the future a better world with more depth. That's what I hope for anyway. And you know, if nothing else, I'll at least hope I can make my own life better, and perhaps somebody else's life better with these and videos, and hopefully somebody gets some ideas and maybe improves their own life with everything I'm saying. And I'm of course gonna try to add more depth into my own life, because that's what I want. Anyways, if there's a will, there's a way. Thank you for watching the video. Peace. Also, have a good Christmas.